Have you ever wondered what led to the fall of the once mighty Turkish Empire? The Ottoman Empire, an empire that once stretched across 3 continents, was a force to be reckoned with. At its peak, it was a beacon of art, culture, military prowess, and economic prosperity. It was the epicenter of the Islamic Golden Age, a period marked by intellectual and technological advancements that shaped the world as we know it today. The empire was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions, a testament to its vast territorial expanse. It was a place where the East met the West, where tradition intertwined with innovation, and where diversity was the norm. But like all great empires, the Ottoman Empire too had its days numbered. Our journey today takes us back in time, to an era where the Ottoman Empire was at the crossroads of its destiny. We will delve into the intricate web of events, both internal and external, that contributed to the fall of this once great empire. We will explore the power struggles, the wars, the socio-economic changes, and the global dynamics that played a crucial role in the empire's downfall. We'll examine the key turning points in the empire's history, starting from its zenith of power, through its gradual decline, and finally to its eventual disintegration. We will sift through the sands of time, piecing together the mosaic of events that led to the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire. We will look at the Balkan Wars, the Ottoman-Russian Animosity, and the role of World War I. Through the lens of history, we will journey through the key events that brought an end to an empire. It all started with the Balkan Wars. Now, these were a pivotal series of conflicts that unfolded at the dawn of the 20th century, and they were instrumental in exposing the vulnerabilities of the once mighty Ottoman Empire. The Balkan Wars, you see, were essentially a struggle for control over territories in Southeast Europe, a region that was teeming with a diverse mix of ethnicities, cultures, and religions. The Ottoman Empire, which had held sway over vast tracts of these lands for centuries, found itself pitted against a coalition of emerging Balkan states. These states were eager to shake off the Ottoman yoke and assert their own sovereignty. The wars were brutal and unforgiving. They resulted in significant territorial losses for the Ottoman Empire, particularly in Europe. The empire was forced to relinquish control of lands that it had held for centuries. This was more than just a loss of soil. It represented a severe blow to the empire's prestige and standing on the global stage. The repercussions were far-reaching. The empire's military might was questioned, and its political clout weakened. The loss of territories also meant a loss of resources and manpower, further straining the empire's economy and military. The empire's once formidable aura of invincibility was shattered, laying bare its internal weaknesses and setting the stage for further challenges. The fallout from the Balkan Wars also exacerbated social and political tensions within the empire. Different ethnic and religious groups within the empire began to clamor more vociferously for their rights, further destabilizing the empire from within. The empire's leaders struggled to maintain control amidst this rising tide of discontent, their authority increasingly challenged and their decisions increasingly questioned. In the grand scheme of things, the Balkan Wars served as a stark wake-up call for the Ottoman Empire. They highlighted the empire's inherent weaknesses and exposed its vulnerability to both internal and external pressures. The empire was no longer the formidable global power it once was, and its decline was becoming increasingly apparent to both its friends and foes. The fallout from the Balkan Wars was just the first in a series of blows to the empire. The empire's hold was slipping, its power waning, and the cracks in its once mighty facade were beginning to show. The stage was set for further conflicts and challenges that would eventually lead to the empire's downfall. The Ottoman Empire's troubles didn't end with the Balkan Wars. The animosity with Russia was another nail in the coffin. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, the Ottoman Empire and Russia were locked in a series of conflicts known as the Russo-Turkish Wars. Their rivalry, fueled by territorial ambitions, cultural differences, and religious disputes, had a profound impact on the Ottoman Empire's stability. The first significant clash between these two powers occurred in the late 18th century, known as the Russo-Turkish War of 1768 to 1774. This was a major blow to the Ottomans, resulting in the loss of Crimea, a strategic and symbolic territory. The Crimean War of the mid-19th century, though not exclusively a Russo-Turkish conflict, further weakened the Ottomans. Despite the empire's alliance with powerful European nations like Britain and France, the war exposed the Ottoman military's weakness and the empire's financial vulnerability. Fast forward to the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878. The war ended with a decisive Russian victory, and the Ottoman Empire lost significant territories in the Balkans. The Treaty of San Stefano, which concluded this war, was a severe blow to the Ottomans, exacerbating their already precarious financial situation and tarnishing their military prestige. The tension didn't end there. During the First World War, the Ottoman Empire sided with the Central Powers, bringing them once again into conflict with Russia. This time, the empire was already on the brink, and the war only hastened its decline. The strain from these conflicts with Russia further weakened the already crumbling empire. Each war drained the empire's resources, both human and financial, and eroded the prestige and power it had once held. The animosity with Russia, marked by these devastating wars, played a significant role in the empire's downfall. The final blow came in the form of the First World War. In the early 20th century, the world was enveloped in a conflict of unprecedented scale and devastation. The Ottoman Empire was not immune to this global turmoil. As the war raged on, the Ottomans found themselves entangled in the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that defined the era. The empire chose to side with the Central Powers, a coalition that included Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Bulgaria. This decision was not taken lightly. The Ottoman leaders believed aligning with these nations would provide the best opportunity to safeguard their empire and maybe even regain some of their lost territories. Unfortunately, this gamble did not pay off. The empire was already weak, burdened by economic difficulties and internal unrest. The demands of the war only served to exacerbate these issues. The Ottomans faced severe losses on multiple fronts, from the Arabian Peninsula to the Caucasus and the Balkans. Their military, once a formidable force, was stretched thin and struggled to keep up with the rapidly evolving warfare technology of their adversaries. The Ottoman Empire was not just fighting a physical war, but a cultural one as well. As the war progressed, the empire's multi-ethnic, multi-religious identity started to unravel. Nationalist movements surged across the empire, further weakening its unity and stability. The end of the war in November 1918 marked a devastating defeat for the Ottoman Empire. The Treaty of Sèvres, signed in 1920, imposed harsh terms on the Ottomans. Their empire was partitioned, and they lost significant territories to the victorious Allies. The aftermath of World War I left the Ottoman Empire in a state of severe decline from which it would never recover. This war was the final nail in the coffin for the empire. The once mighty Ottoman Empire was left fragmented, impoverished, and on the brink of collapse, setting the stage for its eventual dissolution in the following years. The once mighty empire was on its knees. The finale of the Ottoman Empire's saga was drawing near. The final stages of the empire's decline were marked by a series of events that shook the very foundation of what was once a world power. To comprehend the depth of the fall, we must first visit the Treaty of Sèvres. Signed in 1920, this treaty carved up the Ottoman Empire, stripping it of its territories. The Allies, victorious in the Great War, imposed harsh terms, leaving the Ottomans with only a small heartland within Anatolia and a bit of Thrace. However, national pride and the desire for sovereignty ran deep in the veins of the Turkish people. They rallied behind a charismatic leader, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and waged the War of Independence against the occupying forces. This war, fought between 1919 and 1922, was a fierce struggle for survival and self-determination. Ataturk's leadership was instrumental in turning the tide. His army, composed of patriotic Turks, fought with a fervor that only those defending their homeland can muster. They pushed back the occupying forces, proving to the world that the Turkish spirit was indomitable. In the aftermath of this war, the Treaty of Lausanne was signed in 1923, superseding the Treaty of Sèvres. It recognized the boundaries of an independent Turkey. This marked the official end of the Ottoman Empire, but it was also the dawn of a new era. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk then embarked on a journey to modernize Turkey, transforming it from a crumbling empire into a republic. He introduced sweeping reforms in the fields of education, law, and culture, aiming to westernize the country. Thus marked the end of the Ottoman Empire, giving birth to the Republic of Turkey. The phoenix of the Republic rose from the ashes of the empire, carrying with it the legacy of a once mighty civilization and the hope of a nation reborn. The fall of the Turkish Empire was not an overnight event. It was a gradual process, a culmination of years of unrest, conflict, and political turmoil. Let's take a moment to review the key points we've covered in this journey through the empire's decline. We began with the Balkan Wars, a conflict that exposed the empire's vulnerabilities and hastened its downfall. These wars were a clear indication of the empire's weakening grip over its territories, as it lost significant land to a coalition of Balkan states. This was a pivotal moment in the empire's history, signaling the beginning of the end of its dominance. Then, we delved into the animosity between the Ottoman Empire and Russia, a bitter rivalry that spanned centuries. This tension, often escalating into outright warfare, played a significant role in the empire's decline. The Crimean War, the Russo-Turkish War, each conflict chipped away at the strength of the empire, straining its resources and weakening its resolve. World War I marked a critical juncture for the empire. Choosing to align themselves with the Central Powers, the Ottomans faced devastating losses on multiple fronts. The war's aftermath left the empire in ruins, its territories carved up by the victorious Allies, its people living under foreign rule. And finally, we arrived at the fall of the empire. The Turkish War of Independence marked the end of Ottoman rule and the birth of modern Turkey. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the war's leader and Turkey's first president, played a crucial role in transitioning the nation from a crumbling empire into a republic. So, what can we glean from this historical journey? The fall of the Turkish Empire serves as a potent reminder of the transient nature of power. Empires rise and fall, shaped by the ebb and flow of history. But each fall, each decline is not just an end. It's also a beginning, a chance for rebirth and reinvention. The rise and fall of empires is a constant in history, and the Turkish Empire was no different. Remember, history is not just about the past, but a guide to understanding our present and shaping our future. The Turkish Empire's fall serves as a reminder of the cyclical nature of empires. In the grand tapestry of human history, no empire, no matter how powerful, has been immune to the inevitable ebb and flow of time. The Ottoman Empire, once a beacon of military prowess and cultural splendor, was no exception. Its decline and eventual dissolution present us with invaluable lessons, a historical mirror reflecting the universal truths of rise and fall, power and decay. One of the key lessons from the fall of the Turkish Empire is the importance of adaptability. In an ever-changing world, clinging to obsolete practices and failing to innovate can spell doom for even the mightiest of empires. The Ottomans, in their last centuries, struggled to modernize their military, economy, and administration, a struggle that ultimately contributed to their downfall. Another lesson lies in the dangers of internal discord and external threats. The empire's decline was hastened by internal strife, mismanagement, and corruption. Externally, it was pressured by the rising powers of Europe, their encroachment and relentless ambition. So here we see a stark reminder of how an empire's strength is as much about unity and effective governance as it is about military might. The fall of the Turkish Empire also underscores the impact of world events on individual nations. The empire's involvement in World War I, driven by a complex web of alliances and rivalries, was a significant factor in its decline. This highlights how global politics can shape the destinies of nations, a lesson as relevant today as it was 100 years ago. Lastly, the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire reminds us of the transformative power of national aspirations. The rise of nationalism, the yearning for self-determination among various ethnic groups within the empire played a crucial role in its decline. This illustrates how the collective will of the people can reshape nations and redraw the map of the world. The story of the Turkish Empire's fall is a testament to the inevitability of change and the relentless march of history. Let us remember these lessons, not as mere footnotes of a bygone era, but as guiding lights for understanding our world today and shaping a better tomorrow.